My beloved child, pause for a moment and listen carefully, because this is not a random message drifting into your life. This is a divine interruption. Archangel Michael steps forward right now with urgency in his voice and authority in his presence, saying, "Don't try to ignore this. The very fact that you opened this is proof that heaven has been calling your name. Something hidden is moving. Something unresolved is resurfacing. And the person who once betrayed you is no longer at peace." Archangel Michael says there is a restless spirit circling your energy. A person from your past, someone who wounded you deeply, has reached a breaking point. They thought time would erase what they did. They believed silence would protect them. But the truth has a way of knocking louder when it is ignored. Right now, they are desperate to make things right, yet there is something they are still hiding, and that hidden thing is the key to your next elevation. Beloved, this betrayal was not small. It cut deep because it came from someone you trusted, someone you opened your heart to. You questioned yourself after it happened. You replayed conversations. You wondered if you missed signs. Archangel Michael says you were not foolish, you were faithful. You loved genuinely. And that purity is exactly why the betrayal backfired on them. Hear this clearly. The one who hurt you has been watching you from a distance. They see your strength now. They see that you did not break the way they expected. What they don't see is the unseen shield that has been protecting you all along. Archangel Michael has been standing between you and every hidden attack, every whispered plan, every silent regret carried by that person. There is a reason this message feels heavy yet comforting at the same time. Heaven is revealing that the person who betrayed you is under pressure. Their nights are restless. Their conscience is loud. They are replaying the moment they crossed you, and they know they cannot move forward without addressing it. But Archangel Michael warns, their desperation does not automatically mean their intentions are pure. My child, do not rush to reopen doors just because someone knocks with tears in their eyes. Archangel Michael says discernment is your weapon now. Yes, they want to make things right, but there is still a truth they have not spoken. A missing piece. A confession they fear will change how you see them forever. And heaven will not allow reconciliation until the full truth stands in the light. This is where your power shifts. You are no longer the one chasing closure. Closure is chasing you. The universe is aligning events so that what was hidden can no longer remain buried. Archangel Michael says this is not about revenge. It is about restoration of balance. Justice does not always roar. Sometimes it whispers until the guilty cannot bear the silence anymore. Pay attention in the coming days. You may sense their energy before they contact you. You may feel sudden memories, dreams, or emotional waves that seem to come out of nowhere. This is not weakness. This is spiritual communication. Archangel Michael is preparing you so that when the moment comes, you are not shaken. Beloved, hear this gently but firmly. You owe no one access to your peace. Forgiveness does not require reunion. Apologies do not automatically earn trust. Archangel Michael says your heart is sacred territory now. Anyone who enters must come clean, fully and honestly. There is also something else Archangel Michael wants you to know. This betrayal delayed nothing that was meant for you. In fact, it redirected you. What they tried to take from you became the very ground where your strength grew. That is why they are desperate now. They see that you are rising, and they fear being left behind by the version of you they can no longer control. Do not underestimate what is unfolding. This situation is connected to a larger breakthrough. Once the truth is revealed, a weight will lift from your spirit. Confusion will dissolve, and a door you thought was permanently closed will open, not backward, but forward. Archangel Michael stands with his sword raised, not to harm, but to separate truth from deception. He says, "Stay alert, stay calm, and stay grounded. You are protected. You are guided. And you will not be misled. This message came to you because you are ready. Ready to see clearly. Ready to choose wisely. Ready to step into the next chapter without carrying old wounds into new blessings. Take a deep breath. Let your heart be steady. What is about to be revealed will not destroy you, it will free you. My precious one, as this message continues to unfold, Archangel Michael asks you to steady your heart, because what you are sensing right now is not imagination. It is confirmation. There is a spiritual tension building around you, and it is tied directly to the unresolved truth between you and the one who betrayed you. Silence had been their hiding place, but silence is collapsing. The pressure you feel is not meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to prepare you. Archangel Michael says this person did not expect you to survive what they did. They believed the betrayal would weaken you, distract you, or cause you to doubt your worth. Instead, you became clearer, stronger, more discerning. That unexpected growth disturbed them deeply. Now they are standing at a crossroads, forced to choose between continuing the lie or finally stepping into honesty, even if it costs them comfort. Beloved, understand this. Desperation does not come from love alone. Sometimes it comes from fear of exposure. Archangel Michael reveals that there is a detail, a conversation, or a motive they have not confessed. They fear that if you know it, the image you once had of them will completely dissolve. And they are right. The truth will change how you see them, but not how you see yourself. You may notice subtle signs, random messages typed and erased, accidental encounters, mutual connections subtly mentioning their name. These are not coincidences. These are attempts to test the waters, to see if you are still emotionally available. Archangel Michael cautions you, do not interpret their nervous energy as sincerity just yet. Let actions speak louder than apologies. This is a season where patience becomes your shield. You do not need to confront. You do not need to explain. Heaven is already arranging the exposure in a way that protects your dignity. Archangel Michael says when truth comes from their own mouth, it carries a weight that cannot be denied. Forced confessions fade, but voluntary truth transforms everything. My child, there is also something happening inside you. You are no longer emotionally dependent on an outcome. That is power. You are no longer waiting for an apology to heal. Healing has already begun. This is why Archangel Michael has stepped in now, because reconciliation without dependency is possible, but only when truth is complete. You may be wondering whether this person deserves another chance. Archangel Michael does not answer that directly, because the choice will be yours. What he does say is this: access must be earned, not requested. Remorse must be proven, not spoken. And trust is rebuilt slowly, not emotionally. Pay attention to your body when you think about them. Do you feel calm or do you feel tightness? Peace is a language. Anxiety is a warning. Archangel Michael communicates often through your intuition, not loud signs. If something feels off, it is because something is still hidden. There is a divine reason this situation is resurfacing now. A new chapter is opening for you, and unfinished emotional ties cannot follow you where you are going. Archangel Michael says this is not about dragging the past into the future. It is about closing doors properly so they do not creak open later. Beloved, hear this deeply. You are not responsible for making them feel better. You are not obligated to soften your boundaries so they can feel forgiven. Forgiveness is internal, access is external. Archangel Michael stands guard at that boundary with precision and care. As this unfolds, you may feel moments of compassion mixed with firmness. That balance is holy. Do not confuse strength with hardness. You can be kind without being available. You can listen without reopening wounds. You can forgive without returning to the same pattern. There is also a timing element here. Archangel Michael says do not rush the conversation if it comes. Let them speak fully. Let silence do its work. Often, people reveal more when they are not interrupted. Truth surfaces naturally when given space. Something important is coming into clarity, and this clarity will ripple into other areas of your life, relationships, decisions, even opportunities. When emotional confusion lifts, mental clarity follows. That is why this moment matters more than you realize. Stay present. Stay grounded. And above all, stay honest with yourself. You are not losing anything by waiting. You are gaining wisdom. Archangel Michael assures you that whatever the outcome, you will walk away lighter, clearer, and more aligned than ever before. Hold on, because what unfolds next will reveal why this situation had to return now and how it connects to a blessing you did not expect. My beloved soul, Archangel Michael now draws even closer because the atmosphere around you is shifting. What was once confusing is beginning to organize itself. What felt delayed is aligning. This is the moment where heaven slows you down on purpose, not to frustrate you, but to protect you. The person who betrayed you is closer to speaking than you realize. Yet Archangel Michael says the way this unfolds matters more than the words themselves. There is a spiritual unveiling happening. This person has rehearsed apologies in their mind, but they have also rehearsed excuses. They want relief from guilt, yet they fear accountability. That inner conflict is why their energy feels unstable around you. One moment they feel sincere, the next moment distant. Archangel Michael says do not chase consistency from someone who has not yet chosen truth. Beloved, understand this clearly. Truth has weight. When it comes, it does not rush. It settles. Archangel Michael is ensuring that when the truth finally lands in front of you, it lands without distortion. That is why you may feel delays, pauses, or silence. These are not setbacks. They are safeguards. There is something powerful about the way you have been holding yourself lately. You are no longer pleading to be understood. You are no longer explaining your pain. You are standing still, and that stillness is unsettling the one who wronged you. They expected confrontation or emotion. They did not expect peace. And peace exposes guilt faster than anger ever could. Archangel Michael reveals that the hidden part of their story involves intention. Not just what they did, but why they did it. And this is the part they fear the most, because it reveals a pattern, not a mistake. When this comes to light, you will finally understand why things felt off even before the betrayal happened. Your intuition was speaking long before your mind caught up. Do not be afraid of this realization. It will not break you. It will validate you. There is a deep healing that comes when confusion is replaced with clarity. Archangel Michael says many of your unanswered questions will resolve themselves without you having to ask a single one. At the same time, heaven is watching how you steward this moment. Will you abandon your boundaries out of nostalgia, or will you honor the growth you have worked so hard for? This is not a test meant to trick you. It is an invitation to choose yourself without guilt. Beloved, if reconciliation is meant to happen, it will come through humility, not pressure. Through honesty, not persuasion. Through consistency, not urgency. Archangel Michael will not allow counterfeit peace into your life anymore. Anything rebuilt must be built on truth, or it will not be rebuilt at all. You may feel compassion rising in your heart, and that is beautiful. Compassion does not mean access. Mercy does not mean amnesia. Archangel Michael says you are allowed to remember and still move forward wisely. Love without wisdom leads back to pain, but love with discernment leads to freedom. As this chapter reaches its turning point, something else is happening behind the scenes. A blessing that was waiting for emotional clarity is now approaching. When old emotional cords are loosened, new opportunities can finally attach. This is why heaven is so involved right now. What seems like a personal matter is actually preparation for expansion. Do not minimize this moment. Do not rush it. Let the truth come fully. Let your heart respond calmly. And let Archangel Michael handle what you cannot see. Type "I receive the truth" in the comments if this message is speaking directly to your spirit. Blessing code 639 has just been released. As this truth is coming to light, Archangel Michael is also calling for partners in this assignment. I hear the Lord saying, those who help carry this light will never walk in darkness. When you sow into this work, you are not supporting a channel. You are helping lost hearts hear the voice of heaven at the exact moment they are ready to listen. This message reached you because someone else is still waiting for theirs. Your support becomes the oil that keeps the lamp burning, the seed that creates a harvest of clarity, healing, and divine protection in lives you may never meet. I sense this strongly in my spirit. When you give, heaven marks it as obedience, not generosity. The word says God gives seed to the sower, and I declare that every act of support returns to you pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing in ways you cannot predict. If your heart is stirring right now, that is not emotion, that is instruction. Do not delay what God is prompting you to do. Release your support through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal. The PayPal donation link is waiting for you in the video description. As you give, I speak blessing over your house, your peace, and your future. Obey the nudge and let heaven respond. My dear one, Archangel Michael speaks again with a calm authority that settles your spirit before it challenges your perspective. This phase is not loud, but it is decisive. What is happening now is internal alignment. While you may be watching the outer situation, heaven had been working on your inner posture. You are being positioned to respond, not react. And that difference will define the outcome. Archangel Michael says there is a subtle temptation to interpret silence as delay or avoidance. Do not fall into that trap. Silence is doing work you cannot see. The one who betrayed you is wrestling with more than guilt. They are wrestling with loss of control. They no longer control the narrative, the timing, or your emotions. That loss is uncomfortable, and it is forcing them to confront themselves without distractions. Beloved, you are no longer emotionally predictable to them. Before, they knew how to pull you into conversation, how to soften you, how to regain access. Now, your energy is steady, calm, and that steadiness is not indifference, it is maturity. Archangel Michael says this is what emotional authority looks like. You are no longer governed by what someone else feels or does not feel. There is also a spiritual recalibration happening. You may notice that old emotional triggers are weaker than they used to be. Things that once caused anxiety now only cause awareness. This is evidence of healing. Archangel Michael wants you to recognize this growth, because the enemy often tries to convince healed people that they are still broken. Do not accept that lie. As you stand in this new clarity, you may feel a quiet grief. Not for the person themselves, but for the version of the relationship you hoped for. That grief is holy. It honors what was real without clinging to what is no longer safe. Archangel Michael says allowing yourself to feel this without judgment will accelerate your release. Pay attention to the pace of your thoughts. If you feel rushed to decide, rushed to respond, rushed to forgive outwardly, pause. Urgency that does not come with peace is not from God. Archangel Michael moves with precision, not pressure. What is meant for you will wait for you to be ready. Here is also a lesson unfolding about self-trust. You questioned your discernment after the betrayal, wondering how you did not see it coming. Archangel Michael says you did see pieces, but you chose grace. That was not a flaw. It was love. Now, wisdom is being added to that love. You are not becoming colder. You are becoming clearer. If communication happens soon, notice the tone more than the words. Truth carries humility. Manipulation carries urgency. Archangel Michael warns that partial honesty can sound convincing, but it leaves you unsettled. Complete truth may be uncomfortable, but it brings peace even when it hurts. Your body will recognize the difference before your mind does. Beloved, there is no requirement for you to fix this situation. You are not responsible for managing their remorse or guiding their growth. That is between them and God. Your responsibility is stewardship of your peace. Archangel Michael guards that peace fiercely, and he asks you to do the same. This season is teaching you how to hold space without surrendering boundaries, how to listen without absorbing guilt, how to be compassionate without being consumed. These are advanced spiritual skills, and you are learning them well. Do not underestimate how far you have come. There is also a future-facing element to this moment. The way you handle the situation is shaping how you will be treated in relationships ahead. When you honor yourself now, you teach others how to approach you later. Archangel Michael says standards established in silence are often stronger than boundaries declared in anger. You may feel moments of loneliness as old emotional patterns dissolve. That loneliness is temporary. It is simply the space between who you were and who you are becoming. Archangel Michael fills that space with protection, wisdom, and quiet confidence. Trust what is settling in your spirit. Trust the calm. Trust the clarity. You are not missing out by not rushing. You are arriving exactly where you need to be. Remain steady. Remain honest with yourself. And remain open to the truth, whatever form it takes. Archangel Michael assures you that when this chapter closes, it will close cleanly, without regret, and without loose ends pulling at your heart. What is forming now is not loss. It is alignment. My cherished one, Archangel Michael speaks with a quieter tone now, not because the message is weaker, but because your spirit has become strong enough to hear subtle truth. This is the stage where understanding deepens. What once felt like an emotional storm is settling into awareness. You are beginning to see not just what happened, but what it produced within you. Archangel Michael says there is a sacred pause unfolding. It may feel like nothing is happening on the surface, yet inwardly, everything is shifting. This pause is intentional. It is creating space for wisdom to rise above emotion. When emotions lead, decisions fracture. When wisdom leads, decisions heal. You are being guided into the second. The one who betrayed you is now facing consequences they did not anticipate. Not punishment, but separation. Separation from access, from influence, from the version of you they once knew. This loss is forcing them to look inward. Archangel Michael reveals that they are beginning to realize that an apology alone cannot restore what was broken. Something fundamental changed when trust was crossed. Beloved, It is important that you do not confuse their discomfort with your responsibility. Growth often begins in discomfort. If you step in too quickly to relieve it, you interrupt a process that God Himself initiated. Archangel Michael says, let God do what only God can do. You do not need to rescue anyone from the consequences of their own choices. There is a new level of discernment awakening in you. You are noticing patterns you once ignored. You are hearing tone beneath words. You are sensing motives without trying to analyze them. This is spiritual maturity. Archangel Michael has been sharpening this ability in you so that you are never blindsided in the same way again. You may also be noticing a shift in how you view yourself. Where you once blamed yourself for being too trusting, you now recognize your capacity to love deeply as a strength, not a weakness. The lesson was not to love less, but to love wisely. Archangel Michael says wisdom does not shut the heart, it guards it. As you reflect, you might feel a strange mixture of peace and sadness. Peace because you are no longer confused. Sadness because you are accepting that some things cannot return to how they were. This sadness is not regression. It is release. It honors the truth without resisting it. Beloved, Archangel Michael wants you to understand something crucial. Closure does not always come through conversation. Sometimes it comes through clarity. Sometimes it comes when your heart no longer seeks answers from the person who caused the pain. When that happens, you are free, regardless of what they choose to do next. You are also learning the difference between empathy and entanglement. You can understand someone's pain without carrying it. You can acknowledge regret without absorbing guilt. Archangel Michael says this distinction will protect you not only now, but in future relationships where emotional boundaries matter. Pay attention to how your prayers are changing. You are no longer asking God to fix the past. You are asking Him to guide your future. That shift is evidence of healing. Heaven responds quickly to forward-focused faith. Archangel Michael is already arranging new alignments that match your current level, not your former wounds. There is also a restoration happening in your confidence. You are trusting your instincts again. You are no longer second-guessing every feeling. This is important because self-trust is foundational to peace. Archangel Michael says when you trust yourself, manipulation loses its power. You may soon reach a moment where you feel emotionally neutral about the person who betrayed you. Not angry, not hopeful, just clear. But neutrality is not coldness, it is closure. It means the wound no longer controls your responses. When that moment arrives, you will know that the chapter has truly ended, regardless of whether there was a final conversation. Beloved, this journey was never meant to harden you. It was meant to refine you. You are emerging with stronger boundaries, deeper compassion, and clearer vision. These qualities will serve you well in the season ahead. Archangel Michael assures you that nothing was wasted. Every tear taught you something. Every silence strengthened you. Every pause prepared you. What is ahead requires the version of you that now exists, not the one you were before. Remain patient. Remain grounded. And remain open to the good that is quietly making its way toward you. What comes next will feel lighter, safer, and more aligned than anything you have left behind. This is not the end of your story. It is the moment where your story begins to move forward without carrying old weight. My beloved one, Archangel Michael speaks with renewed firmness now, because this stage requires strength paired with awareness. You are no longer processing the betrayal, you are outgrowing it. There is a noticeable shift in your spirit, a quiet authority that did not exist before. This authority is not loud, but it is unmistakable. It comes from knowing who you are and what you will no longer tolerate. Archangel Michael says the reason this feels calmer is because the battle is no longer external. The confusion, the emotional tug of war, the inner questioning, those things are losing their grip. What remains is clarity. And clarity often feels plain compared to emotional chaos, but it is far more powerful. This is the space where wise decisions are made. The person who betrayed you senses this shift. They feel the distance not because you created it deliberately, but because you changed internally. They can no longer reach you the way they once could. Archangel Michael reveals that this realization is unsettling more than any confrontation ever could. When access disappears quietly, it forces reflection. Beloved, you may notice that your desire for explanation is fading. You are no longer replaying scenarios in your mind. You are no longer wondering what you could have done differently. This is evidence that your nervous system is healing. Peace is becoming your default state again, and that is a sacred restoration. There is also an important lesson forming here about self-respect. You are learning that love without respect drains you, but love that includes respect sustains you. Archangel Michael says this understanding will change the type of people who are drawn into your life next. You will no longer attract those who feed on emotional availability without offering emotional safety. As this unfolds, you may feel moments of resolve, a quiet knowing that even if the person returns with truth, you may not want the same closeness anymore. That does not make you unforgiving. It means you have integrated the lesson. Forgiveness heals the heart. Boundaries protect the future. Archangel Michael wants you to be gentle with yourself if conflicting emotions arise. Growth does not erase compassion. You can still wish someone well without reopening the door. You can release resentment without restoring access. These distinctions are marks of emotional maturity, not coldness. Pay attention to how your prayers feel lighter now. You are not praying from pain. You are praying from wisdom. A shift changes everything. When prayers come from alignment instead of desperation, answers arrive differently. Archangel Michael is responding not just to what you ask, but to who you are becoming. Beloved, this message is also reaching many who are in a similar season of clarity and release. If this is resonating deeply with you, take a moment to engage with this message. Like this video, share it with someone who needs clarity, and leave a comment to anchor what you are receiving in your spirit. Subscribe to the channel and join the community that is walking this path of discernment and protection together. Your engagement helps this message reach those who are still confused and searching for truth. There is more unfolding, and it is important. The next layer of this message reveals why this separation was necessary for what God is about to entrust to you. Hold on, because this is where understanding deepens in a way that brings both peace and purpose. Archangel Michael says you are entering a season where your discernment will be respected, not challenged. You will no longer have to explain why you feel the way you feel. The people aligned with you will recognize your clarity without needing justification. This is a gift earned through endurance. You may soon notice new opportunities, conversations, or connections appearing naturally. They will not feel forced. They will not come with anxiety. That is how you will know they are aligned. Peace will be the confirmation. Archangel Michael uses peace as a signal when danger is absent. Beloved, do not look back to measure how far you have come. Look inward and notice how steady you are now. That steadiness is the fruit of everything you survived. You are no longer defined by betrayal, but by resilience shaped into wisdom. Remain present. Remain grounded. And remain open to the good that is approaching without drama or confusion. You are ready for it now. My beloved child, Archangel Michael now speaks with a clarity that feels like fresh air after a long night. This is the stage where understanding turns into embodiment. You are no longer learning the lesson. You are living it. The shift within you is settling into your daily thoughts, your reactions, and even your silence. What once required effort now feels natural. That is how you know healing has taken root. Archangel Michael says you have crossed an unseen threshold. You are not standing between past and future anymore. You are firmly positioned in the present, and from this place, the past no longer has authority over you. It may still exist as memory, but it no longer exists as influence. This distinction is powerful, and heaven recognizes it. There is something important happening in your perception. You are beginning to see the betrayal not as a defining wound, but as a revealing moment. It revealed character. It revealed patterns. And most importantly, it revealed your capacity to endure without losing yourself. Archangel Michael says this revelation is a crown, not a scar. You may notice that your emotional reactions are slower now. You respond instead of react. This is not detachment. It is mastery. Emotional mastery does not mean you feel less. It means your feelings no longer control your decisions. Archangel Michael has been training you quietly in this discipline, because where you are going requires stability. Beloved, there is also a deepening of self-respect occurring. You are no longer negotiating your worth internally. You are no longer trying to prove that you deserved better. You know it now. And knowing replaces the need for validation. When self-validation is strong, manipulation becomes ineffective. The person who betrayed you may still cross your mind occasionally, but the emotional charge is fading. That fading is not forgetfulness. It is freedom. Archangel Michael says when a memory loses its power to disturb you, it has completed its purpose. It has taught what it needed to teach. At this stage, heaven is also restoring something subtle but essential: trust in life itself. Betrayal often fractures not just trust in people, but trust in timing, outcomes, and hope. You may not have noticed it consciously, but you became cautious. And now, that caution is softening into wisdom. Archangel Michael says wisdom allows openness without naivety. You are also becoming more selective with your energy. Conversations that once drained you now feel optional. Emotional labor you once carried automatically now feels unnecessary. This is not selfishness. It is stewardship. You are learning to invest your energy where it is reciprocated, respected, and safe. Beloved, there is a quiet confidence forming in you. It does not announce itself. It does not need approval. It simply exists. This confidence is what will attract healthier dynamics moving forward. People respond differently to those who are grounded in themselves. Archangel Michael says your presence will begin to filter who approaches you and how they do it. You may also feel a renewed connection to your inner voice. That voice was always there, but pain can drown it out. Now it is clear again. Listen to it. Archangel Michael often amplifies intuition when the heart is no longer clouded by emotional noise. Guidance becomes simpler when clarity is present. As you continue forward, do not romanticize the past or villainize it. Both keep you tied to it. Instead, acknowledge it as completed. Completion is not closure given by another person. It is closure chosen within yourself. Archangel Michael says completion is one of the highest forms of peace. There is also a gentle reminder here. Growth can feel lonely at times. Not because you are alone, but because you are no longer surrounded by the same dynamics. Familiar chaos is replaced by unfamiliar calm. That transition can feel strange. Trust it. Calm is not emptiness. It is space being prepared for something healthier. Beloved, You are being prepared for connections that honor your boundaries naturally, where explanations are unnecessary, where honesty is mutual, where trust is built, not assumed. Archangel Michael says these connections will recognize you not by your past pain, but by your present clarity. Do not rush to fill the space that has been created. Let it breathe. Let it settle. New alignment arrives best in stillness, not haste. You are not behind. You are right on time. As this part of the journey stabilizes, know this: you are no longer defined by what was done to you. You are defined by how you responded, how you healed, and how you chose yourself without bitterness. That is strength refined by grace. Archangel Michael stands with you as you move forward, not guarding wounds anymore, but guarding wisdom. And that wisdom will guide you into a future that feels safe, grounded, and deeply aligned with who you are now. My beloved one, Archangel Michael now steps forward with a presence that feels both gentle and commanding. This is a pivotal stretch of your journey, because what you have understood internally is now being sealed spiritually. You are no longer in transition. You are arriving. Arriving at peace that does not depend on apologies. Arriving at strength that does not need validation. Arriving at clarity that cannot be shaken by delayed truths. Archangel Michael says there is a final layer of release happening, and it is subtle. It is not dramatic. It is not emotional. It is the release of expectation. Deep within, you are letting go of the hope that the other person will finally say the perfect words or become the version you once wished for. This release is powerful because expectations keep emotional doors unlocked. When expectations dissolve, freedom enters fully. You may notice that you no longer rehearse conversations in your mind. You are no longer preparing responses for scenarios that may never happen. This mental quiet is a sign of closure. Archangel Michael says when the mind rests, the spirit takes the lead, and your spirit already knows the truth it needs. There is also a divine correction taking place. You once questioned whether you were too much, too sensitive, or too trusting. That lie is being dismantled. You were not too much. You were simply offering depth to someone who could only meet you on the surface. Archangel Michael says depth should never apologize for itself. Beloved, you are now able to look back without being pulled backward. The memory exists, but it no longer calls you. This is the point where healing matures into wisdom. Wisdom does not erase memory. It removes its power. You are standing here now, not hardened but refined. At the same time, Archangel Michael reveals that the person who betrayed you is still learning their lesson. Whether they speak or remain silent, their process no longer dictates your peace. That shift is heaven ordained. You are no longer entangled in outcomes. You are aligned with truth. This alignment is creating space for something new. New trust builds slowly. New connections form honestly. New opportunities arriving without emotional cost. Archangel Michael says the next season of your life will feel calmer not because there are no challenges, but because you now have clarity to navigate them. Beloved, recognize this moment. Many people heal partially and then stop. You continue. You stayed honest. You chose growth over comfort. And heaven honors that perseverance. What you are experiencing now is not emotional numbness. It is emotional stability. There is also a spiritual authority resting on you now. You are less influenced by others' moods, opinions, or projections. This authority allows you to remain kind without being compromised. Archangel Michael says this balance is rare, and it is valuable. As this chapter seals, take this into your spirit. You did not lose anything of value. What left was not aligned with who you are becoming. What remains is stronger, clearer, and protected. Type "I walk in clarity" in the comments if your spirit is receiving this message. Blessing code 8421 has now been activated over your discernment and peace. As Archangel Michael seals this clarity over you, I hear the Spirit saying that this message is not meant to end here. There are others still trapped in confusion, still blaming themselves, still praying for clarity that you are now walking in. When you support this work, you are helping that clarity reach them at the exact moment heaven has appointed. I speak this personally and directly. When you give into this assignment, you are sowing light into dark places. Your support becomes seed, and God Himself watches over that seed. The Word declares that those who water will be watered in return, and I release that promise over you now. This message about truth, betrayal, and restoration is spreading because obedient hearts are carrying it forward. If your spirit feels stirred, that is not coincidence. That is instruction. Act on it now. Release your support through Super Thanks or by joining the membership. And if you are led to give through PayPal, the donation link is waiting for you in the video description. As you give, I declare peace over your home, clarity over your decisions, and divine protection over your future. Do not hesitate. Obey the prompting, and let heaven respond in full measure. My beloved child, Archangel Michael now speaks with a steady assurance that settles deep within you. This phase is about integration. Everything you have understood, released, and accepted is now becoming part of how you live, not just how you feel. You are no longer revisiting lessons. You are applying them naturally, without effort or strain. That is how transformation becomes permanent. Archangel Michael says you are beginning to recognize how much strength was formed in quiet places. The moments when no one saw you choosing restraint over reaction. The nights when you chose reflection over revenge. The days when you walked forward even while carrying unanswered questions. These moments shaped you more than dramatic breakthroughs ever could. You may notice that your standards have shifted without you consciously deciding to change them. What once felt acceptable now feels misaligned. What once felt exciting now feels unstable. This is not judgment. It is calibration. Archangel Michael says your inner compass has been recalibrated to match where you are going, not where you have been. There is also a new sense of emotional safety forming within you. You are learning that safety does not come from controlling outcomes or people. It comes from trusting your ability to respond wisely to whatever unfolds. This self-trust is restoring a sense of freedom that betrayal temporarily stole. Archangel Michael affirms that when you trust yourself, fear loses its authority. Beloved, you are also seeing relationships differently. You are less impressed by words and more attentive to consistency. You are less moved by promises and more grounded in patterns. This shift will protect you quietly, without effort. Archangel Michael says discernment does not need to announce itself to be effective. As you move forward, you may feel a renewed openness to connection, but it will be measured, not rushed. You are no longer seeking to fill a void. You are allowing space for alignment. This difference matters. Connections formed from fullness grow differently than those formed from need. There is also a deeper peace settling into your nervous system. Your body is learning that it is safe again. You may sleep more soundly. You may feel less urgency. You may notice your breath deepening without conscious effort. These are signs that your system is no longer on alert. Archangel Michael has been guarding your rest, not just your path. Beloved, understand this. Healing does not mean the past never mattered. It means it no longer controls the present. You are not dismissing what happened. You are placing it where it belongs. In the past, with its lesson intact and its emotional charge released. You may also feel a subtle sense of readiness, not for confrontation, not for explanation, but for forward movement. This readiness is not impatience. It is alignment. Archangel Michael says when alignment arrives, movement follows naturally, without force. There is something else being restored now, your sense of joy. Not the loud kind that depends on external validation, but the quiet kind that comes from inner congruence. Joy that exists even in simplicity. Joy that is steady, not conditional. This joy is resilient because it is rooted in truth. As you carry this wisdom forward, you may notice that people respond to you differently. Some will respect your boundaries without question. Others may drift away naturally. This is not loss. It is refinement. Archangel Michael says alignment always involves release, but what remains is stronger and more authentic. Beloved, do not feel the need to explain your growth to those who did not witness your journey. You owe no one a justification for your peace. Those who are meant to understand will recognize it without words. Those who are not will fall away without conflict. There is also a growing sense of purpose returning to you. When emotional turmoil fades, clarity creates space for meaning. You may feel drawn to new ideas, new paths, or new expressions of yourself. Follow that pull gently. Archangel Michael often guides through curiosity and calm interest, not pressure. As this part of your journey continues, remain grounded in what you have learned. Trust the quiet. Trust the clarity. Trust the version of you that emerged stronger, not harder. You are not guarding wounds anymore. You are guarding wisdom. Archangel Michael stands beside you not as a protector from pain now, but as a guardian of direction. He assures you that what lies ahead will not require you to abandon yourself to belong. You will be met where you are, not asked to shrink or bend. This is the season where life begins to feel coherent again, where your inner world and outer world start to align, where peace becomes familiar, not fleeting. Continue forward with confidence, knowing that you are no longer defined by betrayal, but by the clarity and strength that rose from it. My beloved one, Archangel Michael now speaks with deliberate calm, because this is a moment of confirmation. Not confirmation from others, but confirmation within yourself. You are no longer asking whether you handled things correctly. You are no longer revisiting choices to see if you should have done more. That internal questioning has ended, and in its place stands quiet confidence. This confidence is not pride. It is peace rooted in truth. Archangel Michael says this stage is about reinforcement. What you have learned must now be protected, because clarity can fade if it is not honored. You are being reminded to stay anchored in what you know, not pulled back into what you once felt. Feelings change, but wisdom remains. This is why your spirit feels steady even when memories surface briefly. You may notice that situations which once triggered emotional reactions now barely register. This is not avoidance. It is growth. You are no longer responding from wounds. You are responding from understanding. Archangel Michael says this is the difference between survival and mastery. You are no longer surviving the past. You have mastered its lesson. Beloved, there is also a strengthening of boundaries happening without effort. You are not forcing distance. It is naturally present. You are not trying to appear strong. Strength has become part of your posture. Others can feel this. Some will respect it instantly. Others may test it quietly. Either way, you are no longer shaken. This is also a time of discernment and communication. You are more selective about what you share and with whom. You are not hiding. You are protecting. Archangel Michael says privacy is not secrecy when it comes from wisdom. Not everyone deserves access to your inner world, especially those who did not protect it before. As you continue forward, remember this. You do not need validation to confirm your healing. You do not need agreement to trust your clarity. Peace that requires permission is not peace at all. Archangel Michael assures you that what has settled in you is real and lasting. There is something else unfolding now. You are becoming an example without trying to be one. Your calm, your restraint, your clarity, they speak louder than explanations ever could. This is why this message matters beyond you. Many are walking through similar confusion, still blaming themselves, still waiting for closure that never comes. If this message is resonating deeply, engage with it now. Like this video so it reaches those who are searching for clarity. Share it with someone who is stuck in emotional uncertainty. Leave a comment to declare what has shifted inside you. Subscribe to this channel and stay connected to messages that guard your peace and sharpen your discernment. Your engagement is not small. It becomes a bridge for others who need this word. And stay with this message, because what comes next explains why your healing had to be this thorough, and how it prepares you for a season where compromise is no longer required. This next layer brings understanding that will change how you view your future connections entirely. Archangel Michael says you are entering a season where mutual respect will be normal, not negotiated. Where honesty will be expected, not requested. Where peace will not feel fragile. This season required you to shed emotional habits that once kept you tied to the wrong dynamics. You have done that work. You may feel a growing intolerance for confusion. This is not impatience, it is alignment. Your spirit now recognizes when something does not match your clarity. When confusion appears, you will no longer chase it. You will step back and let truth reveal itself. That restraint will save you time, energy, and heartache. Beloved, this is also a season of embodiment. You are not just thinking differently, you are living differently. Your choices reflect your growth. Your silence carries authority. Your presence feels grounded. These are signs that the lesson hath been integrated fully. Do not underestimate the power of who you are becoming. This version of you does not beg for understanding. It does not chase reassurance. It does not reopen doors out of nostalgia. It honors the past without returning to it. Archangel Michael stands firm beside you, reminding you that peace is now your standard, not a temporary state. Anything that threatens that peace will feel immediately out of alignment, and you will know how to respond without inner conflict. Remain anchored, remain aware, and remain open only to what meets you with truth, respect, and consistency. You are no longer preparing for clarity. You are living from it. My beloved child, Archangel Michael now speaks with a sense of completion drawing near, not as an ending, but as a settling. This is the stage where everything finally rests into place. You are no longer adjusting to clarity. Clarity has adjusted to you. It fits. It feels natural. It feels like home. What once felt like effort now feels like instinct. Archangel Michael says this is where inner alignment becomes unshakable. You are no longer wondering who you are in relation to what happened. You know who you are apart from it. That distinction matters more than you realize. When identity separates from experience, freedom becomes permanent. You may notice that the story no longer needs to be retold in your mind. You are not replaying details, not correcting imaginary conversations, not seeking alternative outcomes. The mind has released its grip because the lesson hath been fully received. Archangel Michael says when the soul learns what it needed to learn, the mind finally rests. There is also a deep sense of self-trust that has formed quietly. You trust your decisions now, even the hard ones. You trust your discernment without needing constant reassurance. This trust is not arrogance. It is grounded confidence. It was built through pain, reflection, and patience, and that makes it stable. Beloved, you are also beginning to recognize how protected you actually were, even in moments that felt devastating. What left your life created space. What disappointed you redirected you. What hurt you refined you. Archangel Michael says protection does not always look like prevention. Sometimes it looks like removal. You may feel gratitude arising in unexpected ways. Not gratitude for the betrayal itself, but for who you became because you chose healing over bitterness. Gratitude for the strength that surfaced when you thought you had none left. Gratitude for the wisdom that now guides you quietly. This gratitude is not forced, it is organic. There is a noticeable lightness in you now. Your energy is no longer heavy with unresolved emotion. Conversations feel easier. Decisions feel clear. Even silence feels peaceful instead of empty. Archangel Michael says this lightness is the reward of emotional integrity. You faced what was painful instead of bearing it, and now you walk unburdened. Beloved, there is also a readiness in you for healthy connection. Not urgency, not longing. Readiness. You are open without being exposed. You are receptive without being vulnerable to harm. This balance is rare, and it is powerful. Archangel Michael has been guiding you to this place carefully. You are no longer afraid of repeating the past, because you trust yourself not to ignore red flags. You are no longer afraid of loss, because you know you can survive it with grace. You are no longer afraid of being alone, because you are at peace with yourself. These freedoms are profound. As you stand here now, notice how your standards feel non-negotiable without being rigid. You are not demanding perfection. You are requiring honesty, respect, and consistency. Archangel Michael says these are not high standards, they are healthy ones. And what is healthy will recognize them without resistance. There is also a sense of closure that does not depend on external acknowledgement. Whether the other person never fully understands the impact of their actions no longer matters. You have understood enough. You have healed enough. Closure has occurred internally, and that is the only kind that lasts. Beloved, this journey has strengthened your relationship with yourself. You no longer abandon your inner voice for the sake of keeping peace. You no longer override discomfort to avoid conflict. You listen. You honor. You respond. This self-loyalty will shape every relationship going forward. Archangel Michael says the season ahead will not require you to explain your boundaries. They will be felt. They will be respected. And if they are not, you will walk away without internal struggle. At ease is the final sign of healing. You are also stepping into a season where your presence alone carries authority. You do not need to convince or correct. You simply are. And that presence will attract what is aligned and repel what is not, without effort. Beloved, take a moment to acknowledge yourself. Not with pride, but with respect. You did not rush healing. You did not harden your heart. You did not lose yourself trying to understand someone else. You stayed. You learned. You grew. Archangel Michael stands with you now, not as a warrior clearing obstacles, but as a guardian affirming direction. He assures you that what lies ahead will feel different from what lies behind. Lighter. Safer. More honest. This is the calm before new beginnings. Not because something is about to disrupt you, but because something is about to align with you. You are ready. And as this message moves toward its final seal, know this with certainty. You are no longer carrying the weight of what was. You are carrying the wisdom of what you survived. And that wisdom will guide you forward with clarity, peace, and strength. My beloved child, Archangel Michael now speaks with finality and grace, because this message is reaching its sealing moment. Not an ending of guidance, but a completion of a cycle. What began as confusion has matured into wisdom. What began as pain has settled into peace. You are no longer standing in the shadow of betrayal. You are standing in the light of understanding. Archangel Michael says this is the moment where your spirit steps fully into alignment with who you have become. There is no residue left to clean, no emotional debt left unpaid. You did the work honestly. You faced what others avoid. You chose truth over comfort, clarity over illusion, and growth over familiarity. Heaven witnessed every step. You are not the same person who was hurt. That version of you no longer exists. In their place stands someone grounded, discerning, and steady. Someone who knows the difference between love and attachment, forgiveness and access, compassion and self-betrayal. Archangel Michael says this wisdom will protect you for the rest of your life. There is a deep stillness around you now. Not emptiness, but completion. The kind of stillness that comes when a lesson has fully integrated. You no longer need signs. You no longer need confirmation. You trust your inner knowing, and that trust is your new foundation. Beloved, understand this clearly. The person who betrayed you no longer holds any spiritual or emotional authority in your life. Whether they speak or remain silent, whether they regret or rationalize, it no longer alters your direction. Their chapter in your story has ended, not with bitterness, but with clarity. That is victory. Archangel Michael also says that because you chose healing over resentment, you have broken a pattern. What could have repeated has ended with you. This decision does not only bless you, it blesses those who will encounter you next. You are no longer carrying unresolved weight into future connections. You may feel a quiet excitement beneath the calm. That is anticipation without anxiety. It is the signal that your spirit recognizes what is coming. New connections will meet you at your level. The new opportunities will not require you to shrink or compromise. New seasons will feel clean, not chaotic. Beloved, this is where your standards become your protection, not your isolation. You will no longer need to explain why something feels off. You will simply trust yourself and step away. Peace will guide you faster than fear ever did. Archangel Michael wants you to know that your obedience to healing hath been noted in the spiritual realm. What you refuse to carry forward has created space for blessing. Not blessings that overwhelm, but blessings that align. The kind that fit you. As this message seals, receive this truth into your spirit. You did not lose time. You gained wisdom. You did not miss out. You were redirected. You were not abandoned. You were protected. Type "I am sealed in peace" in the comments if you receive this message fully. Blessing code 9147 is now released over your future, your discernment, and your relationships. And now, let this final word flow as an extension of everything that has been spoken. I hear the Spirit saying that this message is part of a larger assignment. There are souls still bound in confusion, still blaming themselves, still waiting for closure that will never come. When you support this work, you are helping Archangel Michael's message reach them at the moment heaven has appointed. Hear this personally. I am asking you to stand with this mission. Your giving is not a transaction. It is a prophetic act. When you sow into this word, you are sowing clarity, protection, and peace into lives that are still hurting. Scripture declares that those who sow in faith will reap in due season, and I release that promise over you now. This message did not come by accident, and your response is not accidental either. If you feel the nudge to act, that is instruction. Do not delay obedience. Support this mission through Super Thanks, by joining the membership, or through PayPal. The PayPal donation link is waiting for you in the video description. As you give, I declare open heavens over your household, peace over your heart, and divine order over every relationship ahead of you. Obey the call, release the seed, and watch heaven respond.